your life is to becoming unstuck. It's what took Sarah Blakely from selling fax machines door to door to changing the way women all over the world look at themselves. It's what took Peter Thiel from being imprisoned by his cushy job at one of the top law firms in the country, where he could have risen up to the top and made millions, to creating some of the most important companies on the planet. PayPal, Facebook, where he was the first investor, Palantir, among others. It's what took Richard Branson from being upset about a canceled plane to making Virgin Galactic, which will eventually pioneer the field of space tourism. So, to summarize what the arc of the hero is, this is the arc of the hero. A. Struggling with their current situation. Not sure what to do. B. A call to action. Perhaps a disaster happens, or a wish is unfulfilled, or a mysterious invitation, or an urging of the heart. It's basically this call from the ordinary world into what we'll now call the extraordinary world. C. The journey begins. The hero meets new friends who will help them along the way. D. Obstacles mount, trying to force our hero to leave the arc and go back to being a bystander, go back to being stuck in a cubicle. E. And finally, the greatest obstacle of all, which our hero, against all odds, defeats. F. Then the journey home, where our hero is a changed person, ready to take their new knowledge and skills to go on even greater adventures and arcs and stories and create an even greater impact. Think about it. This is exactly what happened in the movie Star Wars, one of my all-time favorite movies. First thing, call to action. Luke wants to go into space. His uncle says no, needs him on the farm for another year. B. Luke sees a hologram of a princess who needs help, and then his aunt and uncle are killed by stormtroopers. C. He meets his mentor, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Then he meets new friends, Han Solo, Chewbacca. He faces greater and greater obstacles, escaping from stormtroopers, freeing Princess Leia, getting off the Death Star, all the while learning the skills to do this, learning the Force. Finally, with his friend's help and with the help of his new skills, he is able to destroy the Death Star. He returns home, not just to receive a medal, but to get ready for the further adventures ahead. The arc of the hero never ends. So the question is, let me ask you this. Are you the hero in your story? I wonder often if I am. I try to be. I don't want to be a bystander. I don't want to be stuck. But it's difficult. I always have to ask, am I somewhere on this arc? Because if I'm not, then I'm not the hero of the story being told. I'm just a character in someone else's story. What I learned most of all from the many billionaires and successful people I spoke with is that they knew which skills would keep them the hero of their story. They recognized when they weren't the hero, and they knew how to get themselves back on the arc. This was the main thing in common with all of them. Of course, there were specific skills they all had in common as well, and you'll discover them throughout this book. But quietly, they always knew that there was a story about the world written just for them, and they participated in that story to the fullest extent possible. This doesn't mean finding your purpose or finding your passion. This means living with purpose, even if you don't know exactly what that purpose or passion is. So let's start with, what are the meta skills that these successful people, these heroes of their own stories, what are these meta skills they've used to achieve their great success? Here's some of the ones that I've identified. Values, persistence, patience. Here's a skill that I call ready, fire, aim. Obsession, talent, sex, and I'll explain what that means later. Vision, persuasion, empathy, problem solving. What do these skills mean? I'm going to write more about them along the way, but stick with me. Why aren't these the same as habits? We always hear, if you have good habits, you'll be successful. This simply is not true. I can jog every day, eat healthy, write down 10 ideas, be good to my kids, etc. Those are good habits. That's fine. Have good habits. But things like ready, fire, aim, which will be discussed in later chapters, take it one step further. This is a skill that needs to be improved every day. If you improve a skill 1% per day, then through compounding, it gets 37 times better in a year, 3,700% better. People sometimes say, oh, you're doing the math wrong. It's 365% better. Nope. Compound means that every day you're doing 1% to what you were the day before,